Well, hi. Today is Tuesday, February 24th, 2025. I'm Todd Studer, and this is Morning Coffee. A big thank you to the good folks over at Heartland Properties in Council Bluffs for having Kyle and I over to talk a little bit about podcasting and some of the different things that we do here at the studios on Willow and with local stream media. And it was a very good event, very receptive. And I think one person may have laughed at my joke. One. But thank you so much for that. My ego was not quite as bruised as it could have been. Coming up today, we are going to hear again from Randy Fontaine from HopeNet Ministries. Randy's one of the good guys in town, and he is helping folks who are on the street find permanent housing and everything that is involved with that. And he also has a women's conference coming up in April. He's going to talk about that as well. So Randy Fontaine from HopeNet Ministries is our guest today on Morning Coffee. Morning Coffee supported by Bryce Taylor and GLI Insurance Group, proudly serving Council Bluffs, Tabor, and Clarinda. You know, as we are making our way through the first parts of 2026, it's a great time of year to reset. Look ahead with new plans, new goals, and making sure the things you've worked hard for are protected as we roll through winter. Bryce and the team at GLI live and work right here in our communities. They're always happy to sit down and answer questions and help neighbors make sense of their coverage. GLI Insurance Group, local people, local service, helping our communities start the year strong. Service Master Restored by Schmader knows it's hard to get back to normal when you've suffered serious property damage due to flooding, fire, or smoke, and you're left with all sorts of questions about how to get your home or business back to normal. Service Master Restored by Schmader will restore your space by offering quality commercial and residential restoration services in Council Bluffs and the surrounding area. Give Cindy a call at 402-339-9911. And S&B Country Kennel, the top spot in Southwest Iowa, when you need to know your dog will receive only the best in boarding, daycare, grooming, self-washing, training, and even a membership available to a dog park that's over an acre in size. S&B Country Kennel also has rescue dogs, so check with them about adoption possibilities. S&B Country Kennel, that is sbcountrykennel.com, country spelled with a K, located just west of I-29 on Bunkie Avenue, south of Council Bluffs. One of our favorite guests is in studio this time. Usually when I'm talking with Randy Fontaine of HopeNet Ministries, I'm on location somewhere with you, but this time you came to me. Thank you so much for coming up.
Thank you for the invite. Good to be at your new place here.
What do you think?
I was here at your grand opening,
Yes, you were.
and it was just great seeing everything. Congratulations to you guys.
Well, grateful for that, and also grateful for you coming up here to fill us in a little bit more about what's going on with HopeNet Ministries and Sequels thrift stores and all of the great work that you're doing in the community and in the region is necessary. I don't know what we'd do if we didn't have you and folks like you out here doing this stuff.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, it takes a crew, takes a group of people, a village, they say, to working together to try to make things happen, get things done. So we're just one cog in that wheel.
If you had to boil down what HopeNet Ministries is about into like a very succinct, maybe you can't do it in a sentence, might need to be a paragraph, but how do you describe that to people who don't know about you?
Well, our mission statement is helping people experience hope by meeting needs and building healthy relationships. Without hope, consequences mean nothing. And we work with people that are in the margins, that are in the gaps, falling through the holes. And for many of them, they've lost hope. They see no tomorrow. They're living for today. They see no future for themselves. And so what HopeNet does is we come alongside of them and meet them with some physical needs, whether we're feeding them on the streets, giving them clothes, just medical, health care, just whatever the sundry of things is. But in the same time, we want to build a relationship with them. It's not good enough for us to just hand you a bag and say, God bless you, and pat you on the back. We want to stop. Who are you? What's your name? What's going on in your life? Because the goal is to help you get not only off the streets or out of your current situation, but for you eventually to thrive. What was on God's mind when he made you? It wasn't to be in the gutter on drugs. in this condition, you have a purpose. You're designed for a purpose, and you're not living that purpose. So how do we help you get there? So for some, it's helping them through an incarceration, drug treatment, getting back, getting employment, getting housing, just getting back up on their feet, and encouraging them with weekly support groups, challenging them. What are your goals? What do you want to be accomplishing? Okay, so that's a big goal. What are you going to do in the next 2 weeks to work toward that goal? The next 2 months working toward that. You want your kids back. Well, you got to have an ID. So we can get you an ID. You're going to have employment. You're going to have housing. You have to have all these pieces in place. But if all you see is, I just want my kids back, and it looks like a mountain that's just too big, it's never going to happen, then you give up. Then you lose hope. Why bother staying sober? Why bother staying clean? And you give up. And so HopeNet is here to come alongside, give you what you need now to get you on your feet, and then to support and help you to achieve the goals that you believe you want for your life.
You said something there at the beginning, Randy, that I think is one of the most powerful things you can do. Ask them their name. Asking someone their name, past just, okay, I have to keep a record of this here and
Right.
write this name down, but truly taking enough interest in somebody that I want to know who you are, and not society's image of you, but who you truly are. And I want
Right.
to meet that person. And it starts with their name. I'm guessing there's probably been a lot of times, it's been a while since somebody's asked them that question.
Yeah. And the power comes when you see them again. And I'm terrible at this, but I work at it, calling them by their name that second time. And how are you really doing? And if they had told you things, they had a health issue, to say, well, how's that health issue going with you? Then people begin to believe maybe you really do care. And we do. And you do that by listening and getting to know their name, getting to know their story. They didn't get up one day in high school and say, my goal in life is to be homeless on the streets of Council Bluffs in the wintertime. That wasn't in their graduation speech, but they are now in that place. And so helping them get back up on their feet, helping them through those processes is one of the key things that we really want to do for people.
I have always been impressed with your processes and how you go about this, because you want to make sure that when all of that has been successful and you do get someone off the streets, you want to make sure that they have the skills to stay off.
Right.
And understanding that, all right, here's how you do a budget. Here's how you need to make sure you're honoring your lease. All of the different things that go into that are skills that either maybe were never known or maybe just forgotten. And we need those in order to stay successful and just to be able to get through life.
Absolutely. We do a program in partnership with some other agencies called RentWISE. It's a 6-hour class. And it helps new tenants understand what's their responsibilities. What's the landlord's responsibility? What's your responsibility? What are some of the pitfalls that you can get into that get you evicted? And when you're dealing with folks, young 20-somethings on the streets, they've never had an apartment. They've never signed a lease. And what happens is that they end up in a housing situation and really don't know how to survive in that housing situation. So on the streets, you learn to survive by your tribe. You have 6 to 8 people that you look out for each other. I've got your back, you've got my back. Now, I'll steal your cigarettes and you'll steal mine, but it's okay, we're in the same tribe, Then when one of us gets an apartment, the tribe's sitting outside in the cold, you're in your warm apartment. Your heart is, hey guys, come up here, it's warm. Well, we never leave because it's quite warm and nice, but we're a dysfunctional tribe, so we get into fights, and next thing you know, the police are called and everyone's back on the streets again. So if they don't learn to begin to develop a new tribe, who are the folks in the apartments on either side of you, if you don't learn some new skill sets, how to survive in an apartment, you'll get evicted. And so,
let's talk about that for just a second, because here's what I'm imagining. That, and again, I've never had to, I've never been without a home, but when someone has been, and you're talking about that tribe that they're in, and it is just become ingrained into them. Look, I'm taking care of this person. They're taking care of me. It's part of our DNA now, just to be able to get through.
Survival.
And so when a person is successfully into a better living situation, to walk away from that, and to walk away, because those are real people that they're walking away from, that has to almost be agonizing for them.
It is, especially in this weather. Hey, we all huddled together in a tent and we kept each other alive. Now I'm not going to let you into my apartment. I mean, that's hardcore.
It is hard, yeah.
And so that's a huge barrier that they've got to be able to process through. And I tell them, I've told some guys, listen, get up in the morning, hit the time clock, go work the streets, go see your friends, go hang out at 5 o'clock, come back to your apartment, hit the time clock. Now you're home.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you have to disconnect from your friends, but you got to have that barrier and that separation. And it's really hard to do. So those are, RentWISE helps to process through that. And also the class, you get a stipend. So I think right now it's $25 to complete the class. You get a certificate that you can give to a landlord. So if you're actively looking, you can say, look, I've gone the extra mile to be a better tenant. And some landlords are taking that and kind of moving you up the list a little bit. So it's just some skill sets that if you don't learn them, you're not going to make it in apartment life, and you're going to end up back on the streets. And a lot of people worked really hard to get you off the street, only to see you fail 2 months later. And so that's one of the things that we're trying to do to head that off.
Well, and there's so many different places where a person can lose their ability to feel hope. And without it, it's what gets you out of bed in the morning. Many of us take it for granted that this is what's going on, but for someone who doesn't have that, and they may not even be in a completely homeless situation yet, but they can be in that place where I don't feel like there's a whole lot of point to any of this.
Right.
They may not even be gone so far to where they're looking at self-harm. That may not even be there. It might just be, what's the point? I don't really see a point to any of this. And you have a workshop coming up. It's designed for women, but it kind of deals with some of these subjects, doesn't it?
Yeah. So we have an annual women's conference called Broken the Beautiful. And this year will be on April 18th, and it'll be our 6th conference. And this year's theme is learning to push through. And we've all had experiences, and certainly know people that have gone through dark times, gone through those tunnels that it looked like the end would never come. In fact, at times you see the light at the end of the tunnel, and it's actually an oncoming train, and you get hit once again. And you reach a point, a human being reaches a point where you lose hope, then consequences mean nothing. If you don't get out of bed, you're going to lose your job. Who cares? You're going to lose your house. I don't care. And that's what we see with a lot of our friends on the streets, is that they've reached that point of lost hope, and they don't think life could ever get better. And so we work with women coming out of incarceration. We go into the county jail. We go into correctional facilities, drug treatment programs, and we're trying to help particularly these ladies see that really, as long as you draw a breath, there's hope. There's a purpose. God made you with a purpose, and we want you to find what that purpose is. And so the conference is designed to bring not only those ladies in our programs, but also folks from the church, folks from the community. Let's sit down together and let's talk about what's common to all human beings. We all go through struggles. We all have dark times. If you haven't had one, just wait. One's around the corner. I mean, all it takes is just one accident, one health condition. But then what? What do you do? How do you push through those things? What gets you to the other side? And so the morning is filled. We're going to have 4 testimonies of women who have gone through some tough times, different stories. But how did they get to the other side? What was it that they had in common that helped them get through that? We'll have humorous stories. We'll have videos and music. One year we did line dancing. So it's not just 3 hours of sitting on your tail listening. We're up, we're moving around, we're doing things. But the goal is that you hear some tools that you can begin to apply. You meet someone in the conference that says, hey, let's get together for coffee, and realize that what I'm going through, they've already gone through, and it can help. And walk away with resources and relationships with organizations, so that when I'm ready for housing, I met somebody that can help me go through that. If I'm struggling with mental health, I met some people there that can help me through that. Like I said, we've all go through. How do we help push through those things? So we're using the push, P-U-S-H. Where does prayer come in? I mean, the first basic prayer is, "Oh God, help." You know, when something happens, and that's a good place to start. Oh God, help. You know, but where's faith? Where's prayer come into the equation? Where's love come in? You can go through difficult times if you know that someone's walking with you that cares for you, that loves you. Somebody cares, and finding that, it can help you through things. Sometimes the S stands for sacrifice. Sometimes you got to take a step back. You're going to need to leave that boyfriend. He's not good for you. You're going to need to leave this neighborhood. You know, if you're trapped in trafficking and drug stuff, you need to leave town. But I grew up here. Yeah, but you need to leave town. Maybe you'll come back, but you need to leave town right now. We're not always willing to make a sacrifice for our future. And so helping through that. And then the H is hope. Don't give up. Don't quit. Just don't give up. Keep going every day. Keep going. Keep doing something. Most cases, there is an end to the tunnel. Pain's not forever. There is an opening at the end. Can you just keep going, one foot in front of the other, but realize you don't have to go by yourself, that there are people that will walk with you because they've gone through it themselves and they know what that means. So helping people just trust and say, I'm going through a little difficult time. Can we talk about it?
Mm-hmm.
And that can help you get through some stuff.
Sometimes it's not even about talking. Sometimes it's just, all right, you're going through a really bad time right now. I'm just going to sit here with you for a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're not going to be alone. Just for the time that I'm here, you're not going to be alone.
Yeah.
And meeting people where they're at with that sometimes can be a very powerful experience for them.
Absolutely.
One of the analogies that I have thought of before is, I look at, like, the sun is out right now as we're doing this. It's kind of a partly cloudy day, but the sun is shining and we can see it. But it's not always that way. And if it's overcast and has been for a while, we sometimes forget that there's sun up above that. Yeah. And we just need to find somebody with a better view. Now, they're not always easy to find, but if you have somebody in your life like that, then just lean on them and trust that, all right, my own view is clouded right now, but we can just wait.
Yeah.
And just wait for a while and just find something to pinpoint it. Somebody talked to me a long time ago about this very subject, and he said, yeah, one of the things that he recommended, when you get up, make your bed. Oh, I don't feel like making my bed. I don't even feel like getting out of my bed. Yeah, but if you do, that's just one small little win that, even if it doesn't go into anything else, you did that.
Right.
And sometimes that's enough. It's life can be pretty hard, and if we forget to take people along with us, then we're missing out. I've been blessed. I've got a lot of great things in my life right now. Some things are not at all where I want them to be, but it's just a belief that there's a chance. So we're just going to keep walking.
Yeah.
I can't see the whole path, but I can see the next step.
Yeah.
So I'll take that one.
I got on an airplane one time, and it'd been about a week of storms, no sun, just rain, rain, rain. And we're sitting on the tarmac, and the sheets of rain just pelting the plane and everything. And we begin to take off, and it shakes as we're going through the clouds. But guess what? We came up on top of the clouds, and the sun was out. And we weren't sure there was sun anymore. It had been that long.
Right.
But it was just a reminder that no matter how dark and stormy where you're at, you get above the clouds and you begin to realize, no, the sun's here, another day's coming. So making up your bed is a great one. Another one is find a way to serve somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, get your eyes off of yourself, put your eyes on somebody else. You know, the guy complained that he didn't have any shoes until he saw the man with no feet.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's serve others, you know, get up, you know, and kind of declare to yourself, I'm here today. I'm going to push through and ask God's help and make a phone call to somebody, go serve somewhere, you know, go volunteer at a food pantry or volunteer at New Visions. Go somewhere where you're serving other people that are probably less fortunate than you, and you realize, you know, I've got a lot. I thought I lost everything, but I got my health. I got my feet. I've got all these things, and I'm serving people that don't. And so that's my way of giving back. And that begins to help you get out of the clouds and get above things when you just realize that you're blessed. You have a lot of blessings. Going through tough time, but you still have a lot of blessings. You still have a lot of things you can be thankful for. And finding that thankfulness will help you get out of the darkness.
Let me ask you a question, and I hope I don't go too personal here, but you work in an arena that can be very depressing on its own, and you are around folks oftentimes at their lowest. How do you keep from taking that on? Because when you stay in that environment and you're in it all the time, it can wear you down, and it can become a problem. So how do you take care of you to make sure that doesn't get that far?
Poorly at times.
Yeah.
I had a woman come into our resource center about 3:00, and she says, my boyfriend's trying to kill me. And so we hurried her back to a back bathroom, told her to lock the door, don't open it unless it's me. And sure enough, a little bit later, he pokes his head in and he's looking for her and leaves. At 5:00, we're closing the doors, and it's cold. It's February. It's nasty outside. And I had to walk her out. She sat in front of the building, and I had to say, be careful. Don't get caught. Don't get killed. Don't freeze to death tonight. God bless you. And I had to get in my car and drive off. One of the hardest things I could do. She didn't have any ID. I couldn't put her in a motel. Council Bluffs doesn't have a low barrier women's shelter. There was literally no place for me to take her. Fortunately, he didn't find her, and she's still around today. So those are tough ones. Those are ones that you lose sleep over, that I wake up in the night in this weather and say a prayer for all those that are outside right now. There were a lot of people that were outside over the weekend in the blizzard. That's tough, you know. So for me, it's a lot of prayer. It's a lot of trying to keep things balanced. That I am so sorry they're in that condition, and I want to do everything I can to help them, and just try to keep that balance. And I do poorly at that at times. But human beings are human beings, and you can't help but look at that person and say, well, that could be my son one day. That could be my grandchild one day. I could have a family member in that situation. No family is immune to addiction problems and mental health problems. How would I want my grandchild to be treated if she was in that situation? Well, then I want to treat that person the same way. And just realized that there's an old story, and you've probably heard of it. Little boy is walking along the beach, and he finds that thousands of starfish have been washed up on the shore. And he starts grabbing starfish and starts throwing starfish out. Old man walks by and says, "Son, you can't save them all." He goes, "No, but I can save this one," and throws it back in. And that's how we have to kind of be. That, yeah, there's a lot of homeless, a lot of drugs, a lot of that stuff. Can't save them all. But I can save Josh, and I can save Frank, and I can help those get off the street and get a job and be successful. And that's how you have to kind of look at it.
Well, you and I have talked about it before, that there's kind of two situations going on at the same time. There is the homeless situation, and then there's homeless people. And those are really, yes, they're intertwined, but they're completely different approaches. And you are working with people. The homeless situation, that's the why did all the starfish get on the beach?
Right.
But you are there working with people and helping individuals. And yeah, it is an individual thing. We can get lost in the seeing everybody together and think of them as one very large entity, but they're all individuals. Everybody's got a unique story. Everybody has unique problems and unique solutions.
Right.
And it takes somebody working with them in order to be able to find out what that is and the best way to be able to help them. So I'm very grateful that you're out there doing that work. And the women's conference is coming up. How can people get involved? How can they help you? How can they attend? What's the process?
Sure. This year we're going to try to solicit corporate sponsors so that we don't charge. In the past, we've charged a ticketed price to cover the expenses. So we're going to be approaching particularly women-led businesses that would they be sponsors and come be part of the conference themselves and be a light. We're reaching out to numerous groups on both sides of the river to invite the women in. And so if you're interested, you can go to our Facebook page, HopeNet Ministries, or go to our website, hopenetministries.org, and register. We need a count so we can get the food all right and all those type things. But it will be on April 18th, Saturday, April 18th, start around 8:30 in the morning, be done by noon. Continental breakfast will be available that morning. And
where is it?
And it will be at First Church of the Nazarene. Okay. It is our host site, and that's at 26th and Avenue A here in town. And they do a really great job of opening their doors, and they got a great sound guy that makes all the sound, everything work perfect. So he's a blessing to work with then. So.
Well, I'm grateful that you came in today again,
No,
Randy.
thank you so much for the
I always feel
invite.
inspired anytime that I get to sit down and talk with you. And any information that we can help pass around here, I hope you'll let us know.
Yeah,
We'd
we'll
be
drop some
happy to
off
do
to
it.
you.
Even if you're not coming in to talk, you just say, "Hey, I don't have time, but here's a little snippet." Let us know, and we'll push it out and let the folks that follow these shows be able to see what's happening here.
Great. Appreciate you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Talking with Randy just kind of energizes me and reminds me that there's such good people in the world. And he's not only one of them, but he's also helping them as well. So again, Randy Fontaine from HopeNet Ministries, thanks for being a part of the show today. Also, I want to tell you that we are going to be changing things a little bit here next week. And something new is coming up. I'm leaving the name Morning Coffee on through the rest of this week, and then it's going to have a new name. The show is going to be rebranding, still the same content, still talking to the same wonderful people in the community, but we're just going to make it look a little different. And if we're going to make it look different, maybe we should give it a new name. And all of that is coming up next week, but I'm not going to tell you what it is yet because I'm a child of the 80s, and I remember the cliffhangers on Fantasy Island and Love Boat and all of those things that would make you wait until the next week before you found out what's actually going to happen. Yeah, I'm old school, and that's the direction we're going. As we are continuing through this year of 2026, the Acres in Council Bluffs, ready to help couples and organizations plan unforgettable celebrations. They're set on 13 beautiful acres and offer a flexible, stress-free venue with no hidden fees and full freedom to choose your own vendors. From weddings and receptions functions to corporate gatherings and milestone events. It comfortably hosts up to 200 guests with everything you need for a seamless experience. Start the year by securing the perfect setting for your next event. theacresvenue.com. And if you have not experienced the Council Bluffs PRCA Rodeo at the Mid-America Center, you really need to put March 20th and 21st on your calendar. Doors open at 6:30 both nights. Rodeo kicks off at 7:30. Once it starts, it is non-stop action. This is a PRCA-sanctioned competition, which means you're seeing the best legitimate, high-level rodeo athletes right here in Council Bluffs. Bareback riding, bull riding, team roping, it's the whole deal. And the stellar trick riding cowgirls are performing both nights, and Friday is also kids' night. So kids 12 and under get in free with every paid general admission adult. Makes for a great family night out. Tickets just start at $20, so grab yours at Council Bluffs, PRCArodeo.com. Come on out with me, and let's pack the Mid-America Center. What do you say? My name is Todd Studer. That's going to wrap up the show today, and I will see you back here tomorrow morning.